Everyone, it's Miss Brenner. I hope you're all doing well and staying happy and healthy. At this point, we are coming down to the end of marking period 1, so please make sure you get in contact with me if you have any questions about your grades or missing assignments. As far as the assignments for week 9, we are looking at reading Sloan Men. This story, for the most part, I was able to make some minor adaptations. There really is no extreme adult language or extreme content right on the surface. However, it does have some undertones that are a little adult, so please talk to me if that makes you uncomfortable. I'm just giving you that warning ahead of time. So we're going to read Sloan Men as we continue talking about different types of monsters. There are reading questions, so those will be on slides just like our other stories, and there will be a foreshadowing chart for Sloan Men that looks like this, along with a monster type chart for our 3 different types of monsters and a little bit of a discussion about theme within the story. For activity 2, you will have a choice of 3 different stories. Our 3 different stories are Abraham's Boys. This story is adult. It has a good amount of adult language, and certainly, it's horror. It's going to have blood and guts and description about said content. It's adult. So if that makes you uncomfortable, if horror as a genre makes you uncomfortable, I wouldn't recommend Abraham's Boys. It is a very, on the thrill side of horror. But once again, if adult language and adult content in horror makes you uncomfortable, I wouldn't recommend it. As far as something that is a little bit more muted, it's not going to have adult language and it's not going to have a lot of description about horror elements. Monkey's Paw is a much better option, and that would be option number 2. Monkey's Paw is still a very exciting story. However, it doesn't have adult language and it doesn't contribute to this idea of gore thrill. So you don't have to worry about that. Then our third option is The Third Bear. Third Bear is adult. It is somewhere between the concept of Narnia and Game of Thrones. So there is death, there is gore, and there is adult language, and a lot of terrible events that take place in the story. If you are not comfortable with Game of Thrones, I would say you are definitely not going to be comfortable with The Third Bear. Also, Third Bear is kind of a depressing story. So if you're looking for something that is a feel-good, happy kind of moment, it's not this story. So you have 3 options. I ask that you choose wisely for yourself. Also, if you start one of the stories and you realize this isn't for you, switch to a different story. I still think The Monkey's Paw is a wonderful story. It's just not going to maybe ruin your day. Alrighty, so for your horror options, there is a similar chart to the Sloan Men chart where it's going to have foreshadowing, monster chart, and theme. Our third assignment is our monster research direction. So at the end of the monster directions, I went into this a little bit. We're going to work on this week. I have the directions more in depth with examples posted with this link. It's a video. Then the rubric is posted here, and the discussion post where you are going to put your document. I didn't include slides, mostly because in the past, when people have asked to use other sets of slides, because people get very creative, as you'll see in the examples, with how they set up the slides and what they want to add into the slides. So I'm asking that you use your own slides. I recommend Google. If you want help finding templates, please let me know. I'll help you. But follow the directions in this video and the rubric. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'd be happy to find you more examples. I have lots of examples of this project that were very well done. Alrighty, and then lastly, for this week, activity 4 is our short story study guide. Next week, we will have a test on short stories from our past units. So that means stories that will be on this test include Graveyard Shift, Sloan Men that you're reading this week, The Jaunt, Time Locker, and you read as a class Reason for online, while my face-to-face class read Little Lost Robot. So that's what that indicates at the top. That will also be indicated at the bottom of the study guide, where I have questions for both. You only need to answer to get full credit for the study guide, which is 3 points towards the test. You only need to answer questions for Reason for online. You do not need to answer questions about Little Lost Robot, because that maybe was your option story if you read that one, but you may not have chosen to read that story. You may have picked a different one, and that's perfectly fine. So up at the top, these are our stories, and this is the information that will be covered on the short story test. All the questions that are in the study guide are possible to be on the test. Any of the information that is talked about on the study guide could be on the test. So please be aware of those things. Alrighty, and those are all of our activities for this week. Once again, if you have any questions about any of the assignments, or you want me to go more in depth about the stories, I just don't want to ruin anything that happens in the stories in this agenda video. But if you have more questions, if you're having a hard time picking one to read, please let me know. I would be happy to give you more details. I hope you have a wonderful week. Oh wait, don't forget to silently read. Log your silent reading. We're coming to the end of our silent reading log for weeks 6 through 9. So remember to log your silent reading. We should be silently reading 30 minutes a day. It should be something of your choice outside of our course. Alrighty, and that is everything for this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Halloween, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.